Okay, hello YouTube. It's the Queen of Carver. How is everyone? Hope everyone is doing well on this Sunday. I am here to basically update my testimony. I need to give a updated testimony as to my whole entire walk, and this is like the awakening walk. This walk is basically waking up into the merry-go-round, waking up and realizing that you were on a merry-go-round and you're now off. I need to give you an updated testimony because so many things have happened in my life and in my walk that I need to give God the glory right here. So for those of you who don't know me, I awakened. I say 2012, but it really was in 2011. In retrospect, when I look back, it was really in 2011 because something happened to me physically that I didn't know that was happening to me. Something was happening physically to my body that I didn't realize. I thought it was like a medical condition. I didn't know what it was when I was pregnant. I thought it was a medical condition. But I want to talk about that because I don't know if I don't believe I talked about it in the last update that I gave. But a lot of us who awaken, and I just have to say this, I have to share this with you all. And if you hear music in the background, it's not my music. Let me just try to. I'm gonna put on my headphones, make this a little bit more personal. Okay, so I wanted to share with you. I know in my last, like I said, in my last recording, I think I mentioned like 2012, but it was really 2011 when in retrospect, because I saw some things that happened that I didn't realize that were. It's more like it happened. It happened in 2011, but I didn't really see until 2012. I guess some things. I don't know what happens behind the scenes with all of that when you get awakened, but um, I just wanted to be able to share with you all um, the awakening experience for me. So, very, 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 very intense. Um, I want to start back when in 2011 when I was pregnant. I was pregnant with twins. I was about maybe, I don't know, 4 months pregnant, and there was a lady who came to me. I was in the mall. I was tired. I went to go sit on the bench, and she approached me, and she said, I have a message from God from you. Do you want to hear it? And I thought to myself, sure. Um, yeah. So she told me what the she just said, "You're gonna be all right," and that was it. It was so generic. It was so like you're gonna be all right. I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm thinking that she's talking about maybe the pregnancy because I had several miscarriages back to back, consecutive miscarriages. Um, at 7 weeks pregnant, all of my miscarriages, and I thought maybe this was going to be the pregnancy that was going to be sustained. So I just thought she was giving me a word on the pregnancy. So never realizing that my life was about to be turned upside down. Okay, so after that point, now mind you, I don't have a relationship with the Lord back then. When we go back here, I was still living worldly. All right, so when about I kid you not, but maybe like 3 weeks later, everything just began to get turned upside down, literally. There was a lot of fighting, a lot of arguments, people not getting along in the family. It was just like I was in the middle of a civil war between, people that were very close to me and they were fighting, they couldn't get along. I was pregnant. It got to the point where, it was affecting the pregnancy where it was just like everybody was just angry. Husband, ex-husband went and put together, things for the baby. Everything just got this totally turned literally upside down, arguing over. It was just arguments, chaos. When you look back, just pure chaos, nothing but the devil in the midst. Not realizing that's what it was, but that's exactly what it was. The devil was in the midst, and never realizing what was going on. This, I never thought that this was an awakening. Never thought, anything unusual. I mean, I just noticed that there was a whole bunch of arguing. I didn't have time to really take into consideration what was happening. I didn't know about all of this stuff that I know right now. So I didn't know all of this stuff happens to people. So um, as I'm going through these things where now I'm having problems with family members and that I didn't have before, and it's a lot of contentious um, disagreements that were just really ridiculous and just absolutely crazy. or people just weren't speaking, just childish things. Then you start hearing about rumors, lying rumors that just sound like impossible to even believe, like lies, because the devil was a liar, and not knowing that all of this again, the devil was in the midst. And so then I started having complications where I would basically, I swear to you, I don't know how many times the insurance claim for my pregnancy is probably, I don't even know, it's high dollar claims, but because I don't know how many times I had to call the ambulance. But what was happening to me is it felt like I was literally seeing light and dark. It was like I was dying. It was like I couldn't breathe all of a sudden, and I knew when it would come on. Initially, I didn't know because they happened so much to the point where I knew when it was about to happen. I was like, oh my goodness, and I knew that I would all of a sudden get very, very hot, very, very hot, and very clammy. My skin would get really wet and moist. I couldn't breathe. It was like and to the point where it became really embarrassing because these attacks were like, you just lose all modesty and you like trying to strip out of your clothes. And because you get so hot, you were so hot. And I just remember like kind of blacking out, but coming back in, blacking out, coming back in. And like literally I can see black, I can see light, black, I can see light. So what was happening then, I didn't know what that was. So I was going to the doctor. I think it was something with the pregnancy. I thought it was something with the pregnancy and so forth, but they couldn't find anything clinically to say that my heart was fine, everything was fine. But it's just like then they try to say, oh, it's just anxiety. They try to get anytime they can't find a diagnosis, it's anxiety. So it's just like one of those things where like my heart rate would go sky high, my blood pressure would drop, and I would just literally you could just feel the vasodilation because I would be so diaphoretic. That means profusely sweating. Okay, and I didn't know what was wrong. I just thought it was something with the babies or the hearts, and I just always was like wondering what was the babies, not realizing that was that was the Lord waking me up and the enemy trying to stop it. Not realizing that was my awakening right there. That was a time where the blindfolds were being taken off and they were trying to stop it from happening. The blindfolds were being removed at that time. That's what the Lord revealed. The blindfolds were being removed, and as a result, I had no idea what that was. It was like literally light, dark, light, dark. I mean, this black and this, and it's a feeling that you can't describe. Your throat closes, like tries to. It's like somebody's literally trying to just kill you. It's like you were seeing death and then light, death and then it's just like and I when I would have these, it would like I would really be nervous because I didn't know if I was gonna wake up. That's why I would be so scared because I didn't know if I was gonna wake up because I literally was experiencing something that I never experienced before, and was literally being that was death. I was literally seeing black, and like it would just be dark black, pitch black, and then light. I couldn't even explain it. And then I would be brought back. They were trying to kill me. They were trying to kill me, and that was my first I realized that was my awakening process. I didn't know that they were taking off the blindfolds, and the powers that be were trying to stop it from happening. So that happened, but at the time, again, I didn't know all of this. Remember, it was just totally oblivious to me. I had no idea that was something that was part of the awakening. I know nothing about awakenings, nothing. I'm just thinking that it's all because I'm still in the world, you know. So 2012 comes around. I'm seeing things, but you noticing things, but you can't really explain why you're noticing things, like and it just so happened that I was on a workers' comp. Okay, I had a workers' comp claim out after injuring my back, and I noticed like a lot of surveillance. The thing is, I couldn't understand why the surveillance was happening. But I initially thought it was workers' comp doing what they had to do. I just thought that that's what they do. They go and make sure that the claim is legit. I thought that's what all of the surveillance was about. However, it was more than that. It was it was basically an awakening as to now being able to see what's around you. So these people have been around me. In the retrospect, as I look around and look back at like some of the things that have happened to me, they've been here all along. I just didn't know that they were there. Um, when you have a purpose, a powerful purpose. A purpose in which you are going to move masses, in which there is something in you that you are going to be doing that's being led by God, a close walk with God. Um, there's going to be forces that come after that. Okay, forces that you can't see unless the veil is removed, or unless the blindfolds are removed. And in retrospect, they've been there all along. When I look at everything, they've been there all along. I just didn't know that they were there. Okay, these are some of the people that you've dated. Okay, they arrange things for you to keep you under control. They arrange things for you to keep you asleep because they know who you are. Okay, but they don't want you to know who you are. Okay, and I'm talking about these are the powers that be that facilitate movement, that facilitate people coming in and out of your life. Okay, they play God in your life. They play. If anybody has ever seen the Adjustment Bureau, that's exactly what I'm talking about. They arrange things. Okay, they play God in your life and do things for a season and things like that. Okay, so 2012, I'm beginning to see all of these things happening. It was so severe where I'm seeing all of the surveillance and people following me, to people copying off of what I'm doing, to the point where I thought it was my employer, and I took my employer to court, and I could have, I just knew it was my employer. I worked at home. They had hacked into my computers, my phones, and everything, not realizing this is something totally supernatural, not realizing that this is something beyond anything. And I think I realized that after it started continuously happening 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, not even on the holidays, they didn't take a break. This was 24 hours, 7 days a week, rain, sleet, or snow. Um, this happened all the time. This even happened in my traveling. When I would go travel out of town, when we would drive, um, it took like 14 hours to where we were going when we would stop on the road to get gas. It even happened at the gas stations that I stopped at. Like, you can see their cars. You can see, they were harassed. You can see the harass. Then I just said, you know what? I came across somebody's video. I saved it on my video. And I didn't know what this was. And no, I didn't come across her video yet, but I didn't know what this was. But I would just remember when I would go out too, when I had sued my employer, went to the EEOC, and I just remember them saying, "Oh, do you believe in God?" She was asking me, "Do you believe in God?" And I'm just like, "Yeah." And this was so off subject, and it was like kind of like took me off. It was so off subject, and I'm just like, "Why is she asking me? Do I believe in God?" Of course, I believe in God. So and I'm like, I'm really frustrated because I can't get a job, and I'm like trying to get a job. They don't hack into my computers. They hack my phones. They're pretending to be me. They intercept your phone calls. They go into your bank accounts and withdraw money. The phone companies and so forth, they're in on all of this. They do all of this also. Um, so I'm like, of course I believe in God. So that was one incident. And then it became like some people started asking me about God. Do you believe in God? Then I would hear some people talking about, ooh, the Illuminati, and this. Like, they would make those conversations to like give me a clue, but not give me a clue. Like, to let me know that they were scared, but they were trying to tell me, And I never heard about the Illuminati at that point. I never heard about it. Um, and then I can remember so you would just hear like all of these side conversations where they knew my thoughts, where they knew what I did, like they know who I talked to on the phone. I could be talking to a gentleman that I don't even know, a guard at the store, and he'll be saying something about talking to me about something that I just did or whatever. And it's just like, it was like one of those weird types of things that kept happening. Then you see the citations that I would get, setups with car accidents, and the setups with garbage violations and fines and fees that I had to pay as a result. And I still have evidence of all of this that I can show. Um, But you would just see all of these different things happening, and to the point where I said, okay, something is happening. You will see street theater played out. Street theater, I mean bizarre street theater, where they would actually come out in the streets and play a skit, role play a skit, acting crazy and belligerent and acting insane. And it was just like, wow. I said, these people are, I said, then it became like to a point where I'm like, what the heck is going on? But they want you to believe you're crazy. At the same time, there'll be people that come around me saying, oh, my, mother had a nervous breakdown. She's losing her mind. Then you start hearing, they try to invoke words and thoughts and suggestions in your head. Bipolar. So bipolar, crazy, insane. They'll try to invoke these thoughts in your head and try to make you believe those words. All that psychology stuff that they do, the twisted psychological things that they do. These people are twisted and insane in the mind. They are beyond insane. The way the reasoning, the nefarious works that they do, and that they come up with, it's just beyond me. It's really beyond me. But I mean, these are the things that they do, or they'll give me patience at work with my assignment. Oh, this lady has bipolar, and they'll make sure to say it with bass, bipolar. And I'm just like, could you pay attention now? Because now your eyes are open, you're seeing what's happening around you, right? So you see what's happening, and so you're just like, wow, you just have to, take it for what it is, and then, then you realize something's up here. What's happening? I don't know what's happening. So I have all these different types of conversations, different people in the world, and in my walk, talking. Some are talking about God, God, God. Then others are talking about, insane stuff. Like, then you see all these different. You get in all these different views and all these different realities that are playing out around you. And then when you went to go talk to anybody about it, then it was like, then they'll say, when you're on the phone after you explained, all of the truth to you, all of the truth that came out, you'll say, you know, it's like, oh, they'll say, if that's your reality, and that'll be all they say, and then you're like, oh, so you like somebody's playing the game here, you know. Then you find out you can't get jobs because they intercepted your emails. They're intercepting your lines of communication. They're intercepting your way of being, your way of life. They basically intercept your life. They basically take away things that you need in order to survive in this world. Money, finances. They take that away from you. So they do this intentionally. Okay, this system is designed to basically bring you down to zero level, to basically degrade you, right? So I remember after a while, I went through this for maybe, I don't know, a year, or if not more, without knowing what was going on. I just knew that something. I never gave into it. I know that for sure. But on top of it all, there was also an increase in knowledge and wisdom, where I was able to know that something, even though not tying it to God yet, but I knew that something was very evil that was happening. I couldn't put my finger on it, but it was something very evil, and it started to get me to, because I'm a visionary person. I have a lot of vision. I see things different than everyone else does, and I'm seeing this, and I'm going, this is something totally demonically insane. I don't know what this is. And I said, that was my thoughts. It's something very evil, and and as I'm I mean, because you can just see that everything changing. You can see people change in front of you, like even to your very household, your husband. And then then they'll try to say it's you. No, 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 it's you. Yeah, I know what I'm seeing. So, they play these head games with you, okay? But you know what it is because you have that enlightenment now. You don't know that it's coming from Christ, but you know that you have been you have knowledge that you shouldn't otherwise have. So now I started to know that they hacked the computer. So all of this awareness started to begin. Oh, they hacked into the computer. I can tell you how they did it. I can tell you how they did it, the process in which they did it, and how they did it. Couldn't really prove that they did it, but I can prove that they did it. It was proof that was able to show. But all of these truths started to come out, and I just remember you can tell when they've gotten to your family members because now your family members act the same way everybody else is acting. So now they act the same way. But the one question that I could never understand is whether or not they're doing it because they just don't know that they're doing it, or are they doing it because they know they're doing it and they just don't want it to happen to them, or just being cowards. Um, so I remember going to my grandmother, telling her, "Look, all of these things are happening to me. I don't know what it is. I mean, it was so bad to the point where I could just remember driving in my car, and I was just in tears. Um, I just couldn't stop crying. I was just in tears. I had my kids in the back seat. I was hysterical. I couldn't even control it. It was just, when you go through that. I'm sorry, I'm getting a little emotional talking about because that was like that. That was the time where it was like really over the top, where you just didn't know, and you're just so grateful that you're. And my heart goes out to anybody that's dealing with this because this takes especially in the beginning phases, because it takes time to be able to deal and understand what's happening. But this is so, uh, this is the worst thing that can happen to anybody, and it can happen to anyone. And you know, I'm just grateful that the Lord was calling me, and this is what the lady. I mean, everything makes sense now. Um, Everything made sense now, but I just remember being at a time where you have to look at it from my perspective. Um, I lost everything, um, and not quite, but it was a sense where I can sense that something was trying to get in my head. Um, and this is the time I didn't know the Lord. So my heart goes out to those who are struggling with this and you don't know the Lord. Um, excuse me. Because this is very hard to go through if you do not have the peace that the Lord gives you. It's hard to go through. Um, but I think that was one of the times where it was just I'm in the car and I couldn't even concentrate. I couldn't even uh, just knowing that you have this life. Um, you just did infertility treatment so you can bring kids into the world and be a family. And the one thing that you wanted so bad, you wanted kids so bad, you brought the kids into the world. And now, have money to take care of them. You don't have money to take care of them. And that's not the way my life was set up. And I'm crying out because I know the Lord now. And that was a very difficult place. Um, so this just shows how you can be here one day, then your world can get turned upside down. But then he comes, he'll put it back together. So, so yeah, but there's people that are dealing with these things. They don't know the Lord and they don't make it to finding out who He is. They end up killing themselves because um,
this is so satanically insane. Um, and my heart goes out to those who are fighting this by themselves. And the Lord will help you because He's helped me so much. Um, so this part of it really gets me emotional because I remember it like yesterday, and I remember it because of what He brought me out of, and that day actually changed my life because I think that was the day I talked to my grandmother. Because I was so beside myself that I just had all these thoughts. It was just building up, and just obstacle after obstacle, denying life insurance for reasons that were just beyond crazy because they want you to kill yourself. They bring you to that. They want you to kill yourself. And they don't want to give you life insurance because they want you to kill yourself, and they'll have to, they'll give you life insurance because that's the whole design of the program, to make you kill yourself. Um, but I talked to my grandmother, and she told me, she said, God is trying to call you. She said, God is calling you. He has something for you to do. And at that time, I just, I knew it had to be something like, because that's what everyone was referencing. She said, you're going through spiritual warfare. And it's a shame that we live in a world where we have churches on every corner, and we have problems like this, and no one talks about it. No one wants to talk about it. Well, I'm talking about it. And when I got my book on warfare, it was everything, every single thing that I was going through. I read everything about spiritual warfare. Every single thing that was I was going through was in that book. The tricks and the devil, and being under attack, and then I started to realize um, it was God. God was calling me. Then I started to dream the dreams. I had to go get saved, and it wasn't even something I planned to do. I just went to church one day, and I had my twins with me, and we just went up to the altar. And it was like, it wasn't even planned. It wasn't that we just went. I just went to get saved, and that was a time where everything changed in my life. Everything began to be revealed to me, began to make sense. He came in and he turned everything upside down and moved things around, and but it made sense then. Um, the attacks got stronger. The attacks got harder. Um, I started out not knowing how to pray and not knowing anything. As soon as I got saved, not long after, started seeing synchronicities. 9/11, very first synchronicity I saw on 9/11. Um, um, but I say all of this to say, you can't deal with this by yourself. You can't. People ask me how I do it. I do it because of Him. It's His strength. This is not mine. This is His strength. I look at myself in the mirror now, and I have to laugh because this is not me. This is not who I was. I'm totally different. I'm 100% different. Um, 100% covered in the blood, and I know who I am now, and I know what I am. I know what I have, and He has changed my life. There's things that I don't even talk about that are so supernaturally insane. Like when you're under these attacks, Satan literally sends, for those of you who are targeted individuals, you notice, He sends things after your head. He tries to come and get your anointing. The anointing is in the head. And he sends things to target your head. I talked about where I felt like I had something eating at my head when I went through the problem that I had not long ago. He sends those things. Those are like, and then I get really flushed and hot. Those are venom bites, where like literally they're attacks, serpent attacks. I don't know how all of this is manifested, but I mean, literally, like like, there's no doubt in my mind I should have been dead. I don't know how many times. I don't know how many times I should have been dead. I don't know how many times. I'm here because I have work to do for him. But I mean, the attack is on my head. It always has been, and there's things that come against me that he's trying to give me strokes. He's trying to give me heart attacks. He's trying to get me, but it's just about me. I have control over my mind, and it's just about the Lord telling me. Basically, I live in an illusion. Everything He has taught me is basically transforming your mind. Get out of this illusion. Don't fall for the illusion. Don't fall for the imaginations. Change your way of thinking. In order to overcome this, you have to change your way of thinking. But you can literally see the attacks is on the mind, because that's where the anointing is. If you lose your head, everything else goes with the head. If you lose your head, you can't do anything else. You're done. They decapitated you. That's why they cut your head off, to decapitate you, to take away whatever consciousness there is. And I talk about how something came into my eye. I talked about it in my last video, but I should have been dead from that. I should have died from that. I mean, I don't know how many stories I have that I should have died from, but it's only because He's all over me, literally. He's literally all over me. So I just want you guys to know that no one can do this without Him. And people are asking me now, how do you do this? Well, I just showed you. The very beginning was very difficult because I didn't have Him. But I never was a stupid person, though. I never was a fool in terms of doing what other people did and what other people were following and what everybody else did. I never was that kind of person. I basically did what I was going to do. And, I always led I was always the leader. I never really followed anybody. So that makes me stand out in a sense because, I'm going to do what I want to do and what's the right thing to do. But since I have my walk with Christ, it's been 100% supernatural, and I wouldn't change it for the world. And now I have no problem, where He's taken me away from my full-time employment. That's not me. I'm not a fit for that job anymore. I'm not a fit to be a nurse anymore. That's not where He's calling me. That's not where He's leading me. So this is why I say it's easy for me to deal with now, because I know the Lord. That's the weapon. Christ is the weapon to fight this. I just showed you in my testimony. This is the only way you can fight this. This is the only way you can, because it's not really you fighting. It's Him fighting. All you have to do is be still. He fights. Not saying that you won't go through anything, but you have to realize something also. God is setting you up for blessings. The scripture says you're blessed when they persecute you. You're blessed when you're attacked like this. You're blessed when they lie on you. I had people lie on me. People steal from me, lie on me. poison me. These are the things I deal with, even in the house I live in right now. I mean, they turn everybody against you, and which is fine now. I mean, it doesn't, and don't get it twisted. I'm crying because I see what I came out of. I see where I was, and that was the darkest, loneliest place. But now, I've never been happier because now I know He's led me into all truth, and I will never go back. I will never go back into this world. Never ever. I'm happy that I'm called out. I'm happy that I've been brought out. And I want nothing to do with this world. I'm here as a foreigner. I'm here to do the will of the Lord and move forward. But this is the most degrading thing that anyone could go through. I mean, the attacks, the people that are coming against you, everything. So I'm just really grateful that I was able to receive the calling. But this is what it was. And for people who are doing this by themselves, you can't do this by yourself. You can't do this by yourself. You can, but you won't have any success. It's designed to frustrate you. It's designed to break you. It's designed to cause you to fall. And I just want to say something to all of those who came against me, the witches, and who still come against me. I forgive you. I forgive you. You know, if you ever want to talk to me, you can. The Lord loves you. For those of you who are bounded in this, who feel like you're trapped, you're not trapped. You have to get that way of thinking out of your mind. You're not trapped. You can come out of it. You can give your life to Christ, and He will forgive you. He's waiting to receive you. He loves you. Just like He loves me, He loves you. You just made some bad choices. We've all made bad choices. You don't have to stay in that condition that you're in. You don't have to stay in that state. You don't have to be afraid to say no. You don't have to come out. You don't have to be afraid to throw away your devices and turn to the Lord. He will receive you. Let Him take care of everything, because this battle is really not yours. It's His. But I just want you to know I don't hate you. It's just some of those things that you go through and you realize there's people, everybody has their problems. I'm not sure what could lead somebody to worship and Satan. I don't know. But what I do know is that the Lord loves you, and if you repent, He will forgive you, and He will receive you. And I forgive you. And I believe I'm contacted by people. I'm saying this because I believe I'm contacted by people who want so bad to come out of this. They ask me things, how do I do it? I believe that I'm talking to the very people who are coming against me that want to know how I'm surviving so that they can survive. I believe the very people that are seeing me overcome this through my God, the one and true God. They want the same God that I serve, but they're scared. And they want to know how I'm doing it. I'm doing it because He gives me the strength to do it. Because He gives me the power to do it. And He will give you the same power if you trust Him and allow Him to do it. He will deliver you, and He will cover you. So I hope this changes your mind. I hope this causes you to think about what you're doing. You can have the same thing I have. We have the same God. We're all we have the same God. At the end of the day, He's God, no matter what. And you hear me talking about the Jezebel spirits and so forth, and me going, right. But if those of you who want help, I love you. I love you. I want you to get help. And I forgive you. And I'm going to leave it there. God bless you all.